Tug-O-WAR. That's what happens when you give 3 baby quail instead of 4. One of them is going to get 2, or they'll split in half. There we go. What's up, snake fans? Dave Palumbo here for Muscle Serpents Daily, and we're going to be going to the snake room here over the weekend. This video will probably go up on Monday, but oh, look who it is. It's my little girl, Shayla. Yeah. We're going to be looking at some snakes.
Dad, watch me dunk it.
Logan, I don't think you can dunk yet. You're a little too short. He's obsessed with dunking a basketball. One of these days he'll get it. He's going to dunk right now. He said, 4'2", you're going to dunk the ball? Let's see. You're a little short. No pun intended, of course. So, we're going to see some monitors. I'm going to show you my blood pythons and anything else that strikes my fancy over the weekend here. Stay tuned. Let's go into the snake room. Here we show you the snake. It's getting dark. All the lights in the cages went out. So, that's my zebra granite carpet python. For some reason, it looks like he wants to bite me. I don't know why. I love my snakes. I would show you in his cages, the light went off, so I really can't show you that much. Let's lift him up here. He's a little, when they're assed up like that, you got to be careful because you could get bitten. But I don't. He's really not a biter, but he's more inquisitive. I just don't want him to think I'm feeding him because sometimes they think that too. But you can see he's big. I don't even have anything to breed him to this year. I have one albino possible het snow that I potentially could breed him to, but now we were talking about, we're kind of throwing away the het snow on that. We'll have, we'll produce double het albino granites. We could get zebras. Zebra isn't incomplete dominant, but I don't know if I want to go that route. We'll see. It's a shame. He's so beautiful. I really need to breed him to something. But really my focus is snows and moon glows. So he's more of a, that's why I put him in a display cage. He's one of my really nice display animals now. I love him. He's one of my favorite looking animals because he looks so different than all the other carpets I have. Look at this. I'm very impressed. I don't think they're locked, but definitely breeding behavior. You know, I kind of, there's some boas that I cohabitate. I just keep the males and the females all the time. I don't know. This is a big cage, 6-footer. I really want these guys to breed. They haven't bred yet for me, so I just kept them together because just in case I'm missing the right times of the year. And obviously they're interested in each other. I never pair my boas up this early. So this is an anomaly. Usually I put them together in November, sometimes even December. So the fact that I've kept them together all year round, I'm kind of letting them dictate what they want to do. When the male is riding the female like that, that is a good sign. She's a big girl, but he's big enough to handle her. He's old enough too. He's a couple years old. So we'll keep an eye on this. Maybe we'll get some baby action this year. Blending into my cocoa blocks. This is my female Onyx Boa. Probably thinks it's right at home. Blending into the leaf litter on the ground somewhere in Madagascar. I really love these boas. I'm so happy I got this pair. Here's the male. Gee, I wonder if this is the female and that's the male. I gotta sex these guys again because I think the female's bigger. I think this is the female. I think I have the. I'm gonna sex these right now and find out. These are really easy to sex, just like all boas. You kind of just run your finger along right here at the base of the tail, underneath, and if there's any bumps, that's a male. So this is a female, and the male confirmed to be a male. So I got him right. I guess she's a little bigger than I thought. She's not ready to breed yet, but she's really nice. I would love to have some kind of a. You probably wouldn't have to have anything too tall, but I would like to have like a habitat where I can cohabitate these guys with some leaf litter, like make it look really realistic, like leaf litter and everything like that, and put them together. I bet you they would do really well. I need like another 10,000 square feet to have a facility to make all these display cages I want to make now. You know, what you find is once you start making display cages, you don't have any room for anything because a display cage normally could take up this. If I had a display cage the size of this rack, you know, I'd fit 2 snakes in it. And meanwhile, this rack is holding, you know, 8 cages or 16 cages, I should say. So as you can see, you have to economize space sometimes. Little update from the Super Fire Diamond Boas. Chilling out on the branches here. This is a nice Sunday afternoon here. I'm just doing a little cleaning before the week starts. This video will probably go up during the week, but you know, I have UV light in this up there in this cage for them just to see how they react. You know, I'm trying to really do like a little controlled experiment here, and they really move all over this cage. Sometimes they're sitting on the bottom. Sometimes they're in the trees, which they are right now, both of them. Sometimes they're on that shelf right there, which is right under the radiant heat panels, so they can bask. So they don't have like they don't have belly heat in here. They have above them heat, kind of like what would happen in nature. And then I put some, that's a regular light, but then I have a UV light right there, which gives them the ability, if they want the UV light. I don't see them using the UV light that much, to be honest. I don't really see them up on that top shelf. So either it's too strong up there, or maybe they don't need it. It's just an observation I've been trying to make with these guys. But they definitely bask and they definitely move around and control their temperature. And they definitely like to climb. There's no doubt that they love to hang out in these trees because they can just they didn't like hanging out in the trees. They'd just be on the ground all the time. And sometimes they are. Usually after they eat, they'll either be on the ground or they'll be up on the heat panel there or under the heat panel to try to, you know, warm themselves up. This one's a little bigger than that one, but they're both really good eaters. They're a pair. I mean, I've had them since they're hatchlings, or hatchlings. Boas don't hatch. Had them since they were born, pretty much, and I've cohabitated them. They get along fine, and they've been growing. And you know, at some point, maybe in the future, they'll breed. I don't know. You know, I don't care. I don't have them in here to breed. I want to really, really witness their naturalistic behavior in this big enclosure, with all kind of like simulating the outdoors without putting them outdoors. Because I don't know if Boas would do well outdoors here. It does get a little it does get chilly. I don't know. They might, you know, Super Fire Diamonds that are from Bolivia. They're really Amarali Boas, and they do get in. It gets cold there where they're from Bolivia. It gets into the 30s, so I don't know. They might be all right outside, but this is pretty good. This is a nice controlled experiment. Like I said, I like looking at them. I like coming in here and looking at my big cabinet stand display and seeing them here. And when they get even bigger, it's going to be even cooler. And that's why I have these really thick branches, so that even when they're big, they'll be able to climb without breaking all the little branches, you know. And we'll see. It's kind of a cool experiment. TUG-O-WAR. That's what happens when you give 3 baby quail instead of 4. One of them's gonna get 2, or they'll split in half. There we go. I actually made the mistake also of feeding them with my bare hands, and I got bit. It let go. I got a little clamp on my hand. It wasn't able to decipher between the baby quail and my finger. But eventually these guys are going to be separated. I just gave them a little treat now, really, is what I gave them, because I don't usually feed them on the weekends. They were just being particularly good and cool, so I said, I'll give them a little baby quail. So I threw them a little one big little baby quail is like one chicken nugget for my kids. It just kind of holds them over a little bit. All right, we'll let them bask. All right, little monitor training. Try to come in here and give them a little rub, a little chin rub. This is my female. We're not feeding them today. We'll feed them tomorrow. Usually give the monitors the weekends off, eating, and try to just do some nice chin rubbing training. There's our boy, who doesn't really like having a camera shoved in his face. But, you know, for the sake of you guys, I gotta interact with him, give him a little training. Look at him. He still does this. He still acts like my son. He's not in a good mood. But you know, the good thing is I've never really, I don't want to start it, I don't want to jinx myself. They don't bite, you know, they're not like biters or anything like that. They just, you know, they'll blow up some air. They'll whip you with their tail. That's what they like to do. They're not attacking aggressively. They're just like, you know what, leave me alone. I'm not ready to hang out and play. If I put a glove on, this guy will come out. I can take him out. He's pretty good like that. I wish the black dragon was like that, because the black dragon always wants to come out. I took her out yesterday. Well, she came out and I had to put her back, but the problem is if you put a glove on with her, she freaks out. So, because I think my friend Paul used to grab her with gloves, and she has a bad mental experience with that. So what I try to do with her is handle her with bare hands, but the problem is that she's got really sharp claws, the black dragon. So what I'll do is I have to wear a sweatshirt to cover my arms at least. My hands are not so, I'm not worried about as much as my arms. As you can see, when she got out yesterday, I got some nice scratches, and that was just putting her back in. And she wasn't even really, you know, trying. You can see she's playing with her, she's going in a water ball now, and she's kind of just, I just cleaned her cage. She loves clean water. She'll sit there for hours. Oh, you see? She's like, she wants to come out. I know she does. She was mad that I didn't take her out before. There's our little Rhino Rat Snake. You know, it's funny. I put all these nice little tree branches and all kinds of stuff for him to climb on, and what he does is he'll climb on the top of the cage, like in here, in the rafters up there, and there's like a little ledge up there. He'll sit up there all day. You know, it's funny. It's like when my kids were really little, you know, you buy them gifts and you think, oh, this is such a cool gift. They're going to love this stuffed animal. They'd rather play with the wrapping, the box, and the wrapping paper within the toy. And sometimes I think snakes are the same way. They're just like, you know what? You think this is cool for us. We think something else is cool. And that's just the way it goes. So let's see. Let's open up and see how willing he is to interact. Okay. This guy got handled a lot because my son used to really like to hold him. So he's got a pretty good personality. All right, I wanted to show you my albino, T-negative albino blood python that I got picked up at Daytona. I got a pair of them. And this one's doing real nice. I still have them in pretty small caging, but I think their isolation is probably over. Move them to a bigger cage, probably coming up soon. They're eating like pretty much large to jumbo mice, and they can probably almost handle a small or weaned rat. But I think that, like I said, I've told you this before, I think that adult mice have more nutrient value because they got denser bones, and I think it's just better for them. Those weaned rats are like, I feel like I'm giving them like a pat of butter or something like that. It's just like mushy. They don't really have a lot of thick, dense bone yet. So, and as you can see, you know, this is a captive-born blood python. You know, blood pythons can sometimes have a bad reputation for being, you know, biters and stuff like that. But I think that's more or less the wild caught. You know, and obviously a big blood python, when they get really big, or, you know, really thick, they're the same thickness probably as a Burmese python. And you definitely wouldn't want to get bit by that. That's for sure. So I think if you handle them, and if they're captive, it's going to be a lot easier to deal with them, and they're not going to be as aggressive. Beautiful, beautiful animal, obviously. Yeah, we'll finish up with a boa today. Once again, Pablo's on vacation. I have his Phil and Henry here. Henry's a great guy. And he doesn't speak any English, but him and I have really learned to communicate via Google Translator. But no, he's doing a great job here. But anyway, he'll be back tomorrow. This is Sunday. I'm kind of just checking stuff, making sure everything's got water and is well taken care of. Every once in a while, something escapes. You got to make sure everything's in the right cage. This is our hypo super onyx Honduran T-positive blood. This is one of our stellar boas we produced this past year. One of the reddest boas at least I've ever produced. And started off slow, but he's eating well now, and hopefully, he'll be in our breeding project down the road. It'll be several years for sure. These Onyx Boas, these are super dwarf boas. For those of you who don't follow the channel, I mean, they just don't get that big, and because they don't get that big, it takes them a little longer to develop. Usually, males will breed at 3 years, females at 4 or 5 years. Sometimes you get lucky. They can get up to size a little faster, but that's not usually the rule of thumb. And once again, if you don't rush them and you let them do their thing, they pretty much will dictate when they're hungry. They don't always eat every week. Sometimes they'll take a week off. That's just in their nature. They kind of know. They're from a line of Honduran boas that whether it be Hog Island, these were not Hog Island, but even in Honduras, the food sources obviously were scarce, so the smaller snakes survived better than the bigger snakes because they didn't require as much food, and that's why the future generations of these things are so small, because the smallest of the small survived and kept breeding, and that's where we get these super dwarf boas. Look at that beautiful face. That's going to do it for today here at Palumbo's Pythons and Boas. Hope you enjoyed the video. A little short weekend video this week. Oh, Shayla's back. What do you got there?
A ball.
You do. Did you kick a goal this weekend in soccer? You did. She's my little soccer star. Ah. And you styled my hair last night? The 2 hairs I have left in my head? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Logan wants one more shot at dunking the basketball. Let's see if he got it. Oh, he got it in. He shot it in the basket. I think he's a better shooter than he is a dunker. He's gonna have to wait a little longer to dunk that basketball. Having said that, this week we got some cool stuff planned. I actually have the Mr. Olympia competition at the end of the week. I'll be gone from Thursday through Sunday. That's our Super Bowl of the bodybuilding and fitness weekend, and so you have to. There's going to be no videos probably at the end of the week. I'll try to get 3 in before I leave, and I have some eggs in the incubator that are about to hatch. So hopefully we'll get some hatching out. Right? You like the eggs hatching?
Yeah.
You do.
I can write the letters on them.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
You do. All right.
It
was a very slow ball python season this year, but we did have some really, really cool babies we produced. Also, I want to give a shout out. It's funny because I showed you my monitors today, and one of the projects that we're working on, our really very social monitors that we have, is a pair of double het black dragon T-positive albinos. And ultimately, the goal is going to be to make albino T-positives, right? My theory has always been, everyone's joining the party today. My theory has always been that under the black of the black dragon is red, almost like a leopard boa. Under the black in the leopard boa, you have red. So when you put a T positive in there, you put a T negative in there, you get red. My theory has always been that there's red under there, and so you're starting to steal camera time. Let me explain this to the beautiful people out there. All right. Anyway, so we were going to have to wait, a couple of years before these babies grow up and we can actually breed them together. Even the person who originated the project, has to wait. But I guess over in Indonesia, someone produced a parthogenic clutch of T-positive black dragon, and I have a picture of it I'm going to put up. And like I said, I think these are pre-shed. You can see the reds in this monitor, and wow, these things are going to be spectacular when we actually produce real ones. This is Partho clutch is great because at least we got to see what they look like, but we really, we want to have ones that are produced from fertilization of a female egg with a male sperm so that we can actually have some viable babies and then and reproduce these things. Also, I really think the T negative Black Dragon is going to be unbelievable too, because I think we're going to take even more darkness out of there and we're going to have a lot more red in there. So it's exciting, you know, because my theory was right and there is reds in there, and I think we're going to see a lot more reds. Imagine an all red water monitor. That would be insane. That's where the future is. Guys, if you like what you see, and hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, hit that like button. I'll see you back tomorrow morning.